Karen Devaney.
And Varner.
How we doing?
We're doing really good today. How about you?
The quarantine. Oh my God, the quarantine.
Well, it's a little difficult. Here's my thing.
Let's hear it.
I want to go to the beach and I want to go to the pool. I don't want to go back to work.
Right. I just don't want anybody else to be there.
I don't want to go back to work, but I want other people to be able to go to work.
Right.
The people who are like out of work.
I just want to do what I want to do when I want to do it.
Yeah, me too.
I don't necessarily miss going into the office, but I think maybe the social interaction.
Yeah, I miss.
Even though I can go a day at work and nobody speaks.
Oh, that's not how it is at my job.
It's a government job, so everybody's real quiet.
No, my people are not quiet. My work people, my work friends and I, we're not quiet.
Right.
Other people wish we would be quiet, but we are not. So I do miss them, but I text with them every day, and we do like some type of house party or some kind of interaction, face-to-face interaction at least once a week. But I do miss being able to get together with them. So again, I'd like to gather socially with my work friends.
Right.
But I do not want to be required to go back into my work building.
Right. I understand that. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, I will say I've accomplished an awful lot. In the last week, I started embroidering again.
Yeah.
So I'm almost done with the baby pillowcase that I'm embroidering sea turtles on.
Nice.
And
I can't wait for that gift.
No.
Oh.
No. I finished a 500-piece puzzle.
Nice.
So.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, things are getting done.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to do some things, but not like everything.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's kind of a
and
weird
I miss being
stitch.
able to order groceries today to pick up tomorrow.
I do miss that.
That's been a real bummer for me.
Yeah. Yeah, because then that makes me have to go into the grocery store, which I don't like to do, and I don't normally go into the grocery store. I've actually been in the grocery store more since the quarantine started than before the quarantine because I could regularly order my groceries and just go pick them up.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't like going to the grocery store very much.
It's tiresome.
It
And
is.
I miss my mama. I would like to be able to go
Visit.
to visit my mother and give her a hug. I just like to give her a hug to go and visit.
Yeah, check up on her would be a good thing,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, make sure she's okay, and go for a visit and go see. I'd like to go see her. I'd like to go see my outlaws. I'd like to go see some people that I'm missing. I damn want to go to the flippin' beach.
Yeah.
So, but I would like to take this moment for a public service announcement.
Okay, let's hear.
This public service announcement is a very individual service announcement. So it's not really public. It's an ISA instead of a PSA.
Right.
It's an individual service announcement.
Yes.
This service announcement goes out to Sue.
Yeah, Sue, there's a special place for you.
So, Sue, we need to let you know, and you know who you are, and if you think it's you and you're not really sure, it's not you, but the Sue that we're talking about knows who Sue is. There are no free lunches, and it's not nice to take advantage of a situation like this pandemic to put the screws to your employer.
Really, Sue? Come on.
So we got your number, Sue, and we
Get off
see you
your
for
ass
who you are,
and do your work.
and either get into work or be unemployed. But there is no gray area here. There's no middle ground. So
Amen.
here ends our public service announcement. And so
And don't
now,
mess with our people.
oh no,
You leave our people alone.
leave my people be.
Leave them be.
So now we need to talk about murder.
Oh, and baking.
And baking.
Yes.
And so I'm going to tell you what I'm going to bake today.
Okay.
Today I'm making a very special cake for a very special someone
Oh, is it me?
in my life. Her name is Sarah. She's been on our podcast before.
Yes.
She is, we're having her 30th birthday celebration. And so I'm making her very specific cake. It's what she specifically asked for. And so I will tell you that it is a chocolate cake.
All right.
It has peanut butter cream, not peanut butter icing, but peanut butter cream in between the layers.
Nice.
And then it's going to be iced with, of course, everything's homemade from scratch, a vanilla buttercream.
Right.
This was what she specifically requested because my children do not believe in store-bought cakes, nor should they.
No. So are you using the chocolate cake recipe that is like our #1 favorite?
So it is our #1 favorite cupcake recipe.
Right.
So it's what we use for our chocolate cupcakes. What I have figured out is our chocolate cupcakes makes 2 dozen.
Yes.
So, and each dozen equals about a layer of a cake in an 8-inch, 9-inch pan.
Right.
So I'm actually doing 1.5 of this recipe.
Oh, okay.
But what I'm going to do is give out the recipe in normal measurements because
Right.
not everybody wants to make a 3-layer cake.
No, it doesn't have to be complicated.
It doesn't need to be complicated.
It doesn't have to be scientific.
No, the thing that I found the most amazing about this recipe, whether you make it a cake or you make cupcakes, it is always so moist and delicious, and cakes are supposed to be moist. And it's so chocolatey, and it's very rich.
It's delicious.
And there are no eggs in it, and I find that to be scientifically amazing.
And there's no science to, okay, put this in, whip it,
No,
do
it's
this.
throw it all
dump
together.
it all in a bowl,
Yes.
mix it together.
It's
And,
nice.
I mean, believe it or not, way back when, Karen and I really wanted to start a cupcake business. And we made these cupcakes, and just people couldn't stop talking about how delicious.
We actually sold them
recipe
at a
was.
yard sale.
We did.
We made more money on our cupcakes than we did on anything else
We sure
that we
did.
sold that day. But yeah, these are tried and true, absolutely no fail. I'm going to run through the recipe really quick for the cupcakes.
All right, let's hear it.
And then I'll let you get to getting while I piddle in the kitchen. Okay, so again, this is to make 2 dozen cupcakes, which would be a 2-layer cake. So you do 2/3 cup of vegetable oil, you do 2 cups of water, 2 tablespoons of vinegar. People are going to be like, what? Yep, vinegar. 2 teaspoons of baking soda, a teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 3 cups of cake flour. It needs to be cake flour. Cake flour has been sifted a lot, and it's very light. And then 2 cups of sugar and a 1/2 cup of cocoa powder. And you literally throw all that shit together in a bowl.
And
you
mix it.
mix it. So what I do is I kind of mix it with a scraper mixer, like rubber spatula, to get things kind of wet. And then I turn that mixer on. You can use just a hand mixer. You don't even have to use your KitchenAid.
Yeah, it's like, because you don't want to overmix
No,
it.
you do it for 2 minutes until it's blended, and the batter's going to be thin and watery. Don't worry about it. And then you're going to bake it. For cupcakes, it's 15 to 18 minutes. That's what I would start on as well for the cake layers. And then you're just going to, once that 18 minutes is up, then if it's not done yet, if you can wiggle it and it jiggles in the middle, it's not ready yet.
Right.
So you just I would just do it like in 2 or 3 minute increments until you get it to the right.
So if you decide to make cupcakes, Karen and I used to use a recipe that we used for the whoopie pie filling when we did the whoopie pies way back.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell them
cake
about
roll,
that.
And you can do like a Hostess, a ho-ho.
Yeah, so that's what I used for the peanut butter filling
Right.
of this cake, and we call it angel cream or cream filling. And when I go a little bit further on this, I'll talk about that because I used that as my base for the peanut butter cream, and then I just literally added peanut butter to taste until I got it to how much peanut butter taste I wanted, or not even me, it was my people. So but I'll share that recipe as well. So you start talking about murder, and I'm going to start getting everything ready.
I'll do it. So I unfortunately had to venture into the Walmart over the weekend because I was almost out of dog food, and Trout was going to send me out of the house. So I didn't have a choice. I had to go, and I was so happy. It was such a delightful day at Walmart. I went. It was not busy. I didn't have to wait to get in.
I love a good day at Wally.
Yeah, and I hadn't been to the store in such a long time. Just kind of walked around and looked, and it was delightful. But as I was standing at the checkout, I happened to notice that the people that do People magazine have come out with a special edition called True Crime Stories.
That's so
What?
exciting.
It's a whole entire People magazine of true crime.
They must have done it with us in mind.
They have to have. They
Yeah.
said, you know, these girls are doing these murders. We'll help them out.
Let's help you out a little bit.
Yeah. So I was thumbing through and I came across this murder that I hadn't heard of that takes place in Canada. Oh, Canada.
I was just gonna say, had a mouthful of coffee. Excuse me. Oh, Canada.
That's all we know.
That's
about it.
all we know.
But
maybe that's all there is. Maybe that's just what they sing over and over.
no, it's like their national anthem, but that's it. That's all we got.
Oh, Canada.
By the time we do
The fir trees are all green, the maple leaves are turning, and the ice is ready for skating. Oh, Canada.
I don't think that's
I think that's it.
But we may
If not,
send that in and recommend changes.
yeah, I'm adopted.
They're
No
fine,
problem.
yeah.
Whatever they're. Do they have a
that's not
parliament?
all
Do
offensive.
they have a parliament? Do they have a government? What do they have?
Whatever it is, it's awesome.
And they're going to adopt our version, our rendition.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
It's our Southern Canadian rendition.
Southern Canadian.
Okay, let's hear your moida.
Okay, so this one caught my eye because it's called Monster in Disguise. Bum, bum,
Bum, bum, bum. And you know, they've got Bigfoot up there.
In Canada?
Oh, yeah, they got the Sasquatches up there.
I didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah, sure enough. So,
I thought that was only in America.
Oh, no, they got Sasquatches
They got
up
a
in
Canadian Sasquatch?
I think that's where they originated from.
Nuh-uh.
They migrated down here later
No
on
way.
in America, but I think they came from up there.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'll have to do some research on that one.
You know what else they have? They have Mounties.
Yes, I'm going to talk about some.
I love a Mountie.
I'm empty. Anyways.
Okay.
The article starts out, and I'll just read a little bit from the magazine. Hardworking and quick to smile, Bruce McArthur moved easily among several
Oh,
worlds.
I thought you were going to talk about me.
A monster in disguise. Are you a
No.
monster in disguise?
What is the beginning of that sentence?
Hardworking and quick to smile.
That's me!
No, that's
Oh.
silly. 2 decades after he came out as gay,
Oh,
he
that's not me.
maintained friendly relations with his ex-wife,
Aw.
bragged about his grandchildren, and got a kick out of playing Santa at the local mall.
That's how he got his kicks.
Playing the local Santa?
Off Route 66.
He made his living tending to the lawns and the gardens of wealthy clients in some of Toronto's most affluent neighborhoods, and at the same time helped the less fortunate by offering day work to struggling denizens.
Denizens?
Denizens of the village. The city's LGBTQ community.
You threw in some extra letters.
LGBTQ community.
LGBTQXRV.
According to one business acquaintance, McArthur lived up to the well-chosen name of his landscaping company, Artistic Designs. He was a bit of an artist himself. He took great pride in the massive stone planters with artful floral arrays that had become his signature. You know, the big planters that people have in front of their doors.
Yes.
Like, he would do those, and they were just very ornate and beautiful. And
We have a friend that does those.
we do.
And she's been on our podcast.
She has.
It's Farmer Katie.
And I'm so hopeful.
She has Katie's Containers. If anybody wants to find her,
Yes.
she's Katie's Containers.
And I'm sure
They're
that
just
what she
gorgeous.
plants in her containers is nothing like what he put in his.
Did he put marijuana in his?
Just
Oh, I'm so
just a
excited.
minute.
Oh,
My goodness.
did I figure out the whole plot?
That's
Oh,
it.
That's
Never
it. We're
mind,
done.
guys.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great week.
It's over. She ruined it. Ruined.
Oh, ruined.
So anyway, his customers raved about the plantings. They would stand with him in front of them and admire them.
Oh.
But as they praised his handiwork, only McArthur knew the horrors within.
What? In the containers?
What? Oh my gosh. So, I was intrigued by that, and I Googled his name, and here's some information that I found out.
Do you know what a denizen is?
I'm thinking somebody down on their luck.
No, it's just an inhabitant of an area.
Oh, excuse me.
Exactly. They don't even have to be down on their luck. It's just an occupant.
Thank God I've been schooled on the podcast in front of everybody.
Oh.
Please make sure
I had to look it up.
Please make sure you call me out anytime.
I had to look it up because I thought it was a bat until I looked it up. So there.
So between 2010 and 2017, a series of men disappeared in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. In the early part of the decade, the Toronto Police, also known as TPS, created Project Houston, which was a divisional task force that linked the disappearance of 3 men of South Asian or Middle Eastern origin to church in Wellesley, Toronto's gay village. The investigation was unable to determine if the disappearances of these men was related or if a crime had been committed. But in mid-2017, there was some public speculation about a serial killer in church in Wellesley.
Oh, wow.
And then evidence came from a missing persons investigation that led TPS to create a second task force called Project Prism. Prism, like a prism.
Okay.
Not a prison.
Yeah, I got it.
A prism. In January of 2018, Project Prism investigators obtained evidence connecting 2 disappearances to Bruce McArthur.
Oh.
The 66-year-old self-employed landscaper who bragged about his grandkids and got a kick out of playing Santa at the local mall.
Well, of course he did.
They arrested him January 18th, 2018.
Oh, wow.
So back to the article in the People magazine. I'm going to go back to the other researchers.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Yeah. We got you.
Police say they found evidence in McArthur's apartment leading to homicide charges, and that they found the dismembered remains of several men. Several?
They were only looking for 2.
In planter boxes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Oh no.
Yes. He was cutting them up and putting them in the bottom of his planter.
Oh my God.
And then planting these
great fertilizer though.
wonderful.
Can you imagine how beautiful
these beautiful
I mean, they must have
planters.
grown so beautifully because that's natural fertilizer.
Right.
That's
oh my God.
ashes to ashes, dirt to dirt, or whatever it's called.
Yeah. So evidently, when they, well, I'll get to it. It's really interesting how they figured that out. But so
that gives me the heebie-jeebies.
So they found the remains of several men in planter boxes at a residence where he stored landscaping equipment. So he didn't live there. It's just where he stored some of his equipment.
Oh, great. Well, listen, I just want to mention that I don't think Katie includes that in her containers.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm sorry, Katie. I was a little bit overly zealous about trying to promote your business, but I take it all back. I mean, I'm just saying it might cost extra.
Right. So the remains of 8 men, most of them Middle Eastern and South Asian immigrants who have gone missing since 2010 were found in a number of McArthur's planters, as well as in a ravine behind the home of elderly clients in the Toronto Leesdale neighborhood. I think it might be another nice neighborhood in
I'm
Toronto.
sure it's very well to do.
Yeah. So, imagine the surprise of those clients when they found out that he had been throwing body parts in the ravine behind their house. And oh, by the way, let me tell you why your plants are looking so good, lady.
I mean, those plants are awesome, but please don't eat them.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine snipping rosemary out of your planter box?
Only to find out that there's an elbow under it.
Lord. Oh, no.
God, that is truly a nightmare. Truly a nightmare.
So for 10 years, Karen Fraser and her husband had done McArthur a favor, allowing him to use a garage to store his landscaping equipment in exchange for free gardening services. every aspect of
Wait, in exchange for free gardening?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. That's awful.
Yeah. So the full extent of his crimes only became clear a year later when McArthur, then 67, pled guilty to 8 counts of first-degree murder, and he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for 25 years.
Wait.
So up for parole in 25 years, but he was 67, so there's no chance that he was getting out.
Oh my gosh.
No. So what he would do is he and all of these men were very active with online dating apps for men who have sex with men.
Okay.
And McArthur would say he wanted to meet submissive men.
Okay. I mean, that is a thing. That's a thing.
Yeah. So, what he would do, I've got another article, I gotta pull it up real quick. Sorry, I'm just not as quick on the phone as I used to be. I don't know. I feel like I'm turning into a sloth, where I used to go, and now it's like really.
You're that sloth that's drawing the picture.
That's me. Yeah.
Well, I feel like that's how time is going right now.
Right.
Life is going at that speed.
It's super slow.
Yeah.
So, let's see, he was arrested, guilty, 8 counts, first-degree murder.
All right, hold on. I just got it real quick. Just let me.
Oh my God, how long is this going on? Jeez, push it.
Oh, Canada.
I'm thinking you're going to have to hand whip. Or remember when they had the whip beaters you need to find those so that we can continue.
We used to have one
A
at
hand
Mom's.
crank beater, yeah.
Somebody had one. It was either one of our grandmothers.
Somebody send us a hand crank beater.
We
so
need
we
a
can stay
silent. Yes, that's okay. Next time that you have to take a moment to think again, I'll whip it some more. But
So-
for now, I'll just do hand whipping.
One of the attorneys in the case said that when McArthur was arrested, it was during an encounter with someone who could have been his 9th victim. The man was identified only as John, had gone to McArthur's house on the 18th of January where he was handcuffed to the bed and had a black bag placed over his head.
Holy crap!
John managed to get the bag off. McArthur tried to tape his mouth shut at that point.
Whoa!
It was at that moment that police knocked on the door.
Thank God. That guy was literally saved
Oh,
in the nick of time.
that's insane.
And that's probably why Bonnie Raitt sings that song,
What's that?
Nick of Time.
Oh, right. So, and police had been tracking McArthur's movements, and they knew that he could potentially have a victim in there, so they said, we're just going to...
I'm sorry. I'm
gracious.
so sorry.
They're
I'm sorry.
serious.
I know, and I'm just messing it up. Okay, everybody.
So, a forensic analysis of Mr. McArthur's computer showed that on the day that one of the victims was murdered... Oh my God!
Just really quick. It's okay.
Lord have mercy.
Okay, I got it. Sorry.
That
Okay, go ahead.
McArthur had searched for John and downloaded photographs of him from social media.
Oh, wow.
Upon searching McArthur's home, police found a hard drive that contained photos he took of his victims, some posed nude in a fur coat with cigars between their lips.
Wait, where did the fur coat come
I
from?
don't know. I guess he would put them in he would kill them and then put them in a fur coat and stick a...
Wait. So you're saying that these were not men that were alive
Correct.
posing? He was post-mortem posing.
Correct.
That's a thing, I guess.
In a fur coat with a cigar in their teeth.
That's very specific. That's a
Nude,
very
naked.
specific.
He
Well,
didn't even close the coat.
that's
Jesus.
just rude.
I
I wonder if when men die, if they get shrinkage.
That is very personal.
Well, I'm just saying that would just be really rude if that's how he showed them, like in their worst.
Well, I'm sure everything
state.
is relaxed. I don't know. We're not talking about
Okay.
that. At least one of the victims had his eyes taped open in the photos.
Ew!
The photos were stored in 8 individual folders, with a 9th folder having been created for John, the victim that they saved. So he was like, for sure, going to be number 9. In addition to dismembering his victims, McArthur would shave some of their heads and beards, and then he would store the hair in Ziploc bags in a shed by a cemetery.
What is happening?
I know.
That is so disgusting.
The mall Santa, y'all. This was the Santa Claus.
This is the mall Santa. This is who your children have been sitting upon his lap.
Lord of mercy.
His perverted, gross, creepy lap.
Baby Jesus,
sweet
too much to take.
baby Jesus with the Santa Claus, the perverted Santa.
Too much to take.
I can't.
So, McArthur restrained and sexually assaulted his victims and strangled them to death with a metal bar with a rope attached to it. He met his victims on dating apps and killed them in a planned and deliberate way. They were all connected to Toronto's LGBT community and linked through their physical appearances. Most sported facial hair and or a beard. 6 of the victims were immigrants and of South Asian or Middle Eastern descent. They were also similar in ways that made victimization more likely or harder to detect.
Oh.
Some were forced to
No. Are you sure you want to read
live
that?
parts of their lives in secret because of their orientation.
Yeah, so they had not completely come out.
Right. And some lacked stable housing.
Oh.
There is evidence that Mr. McArthur sought out and exploited vulnerabilities to continue his crimes undetected. So police first got on McArthur's trail after he killed Andrew Kinsman. Kinsman was last seen June 26, 2017, and had made a diary entry for that day that was marked Bruce. Surveillance footage showed Kinsman getting into McArthur's car. After that, police began surveilling McArthur and searched his home after obtaining a warrant. McArthur had several previous run-ins with the police. In 2003, he was convicted of assault for hitting a former sexual partner in the head with a metal pipe.
Oh my God.
This man's got a problem with metal pipes.
I mean,
In 2013, he was interviewed by police over the disappearance of 3 of his victims, though he was considered to be a witness rather than a suspect. In 2016, police again interviewed him after he attempted to strangle his friend in his van. The friend said McArthur had invited him into the van for what he assumed would be a sexual encounter and found the vehicle covered in plastic.
oh no, that's a telltale sign.
Yeah,
That's a bit of a red flag.
I am not getting
This
it.
is a red flag. I'm gonna go.
So if you ever come across somebody and they say, hey, come on, look inside my car, and they've got plastic on the seats, get out.
Yeah, get out. Don't even, like, if you open the door and you smell plastic, you should close
Get
the door
out.
and run. Ask questions later.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So the victim asked, what do you want from me? Why? Before escaping and reporting it to the police. Police did not charge McArthur, apparently finding his side of the story credible. And
What is his side of the story?
I don't know. It doesn't say. And then the 2003 arrest that he had an arrest in 2003, but it didn't show up when they ran background searches.
Oh.
They did. We were angry. This was sometime. It just there was the victims' families were in court, and they did deliver some important information in court. But it did, it couldn't. It doesn't help. I mean, I think it maybe feels, Piper's upset.
Piper is upset because we're not paying
Somebody's
attention.
information, like, right.
Baby,
Like,
Baby's gonna have to go in another room. No, you have to. No.
So the full extent of his crimes only became clear a year. Let's see, McArthur turned 67. He pled guilty. The court judge described the killings as pure evil. So before dismembering his victims, McArthur carried his artistic flair to perverse extremes, posing their corpses and photographing them. That, I guess, was a big thing of his.
Yeah, that's like, the guy that, was it Bruto's? Who's the guy that I
Oh,
covered
right.
that took
Yeah.
pictures of all his girls that he murdered, that he waited?
Yeah, so
Ugh.
he'll be in jail. He'll die.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That was terrible.
Canada.
Terrible.
That was a bad one.
Your landscaper. Lord have mercy.
Mm-mm.
So what they had to do.
I wonder what the name of his business was, like Containers Plus?
No, artistic.
Oh, artistic.
Oh, I can't remember. Whatever. Artistic innovations or.
Artistic Innovations, where we hold you at arm's length.
Where a piece of you is in every pot.
Or this is going to cost you an arm and a leg.
So they had a lot of crime scenes that they had to process.
I'm sure.
It took a long time for them to identify. It became the largest investigation conducted by the Toronto police.
Wow.
It also called on the resources of the Ontario Provincial Police, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police,
I like a mounted police.
and other police and forensic systems.
I can only imagine. I mean, you got to go to all those containers and dig in the pots and see what you find.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's like a treasure hunt for treasure that you don't want.
No. So these poor people that had rented out their garage. The police came and said, you have 24 hours. Get out. You got to get out.
Got to get to getting.
Right. And it was cold. So the people had to leave their house, and the police wrapped up the big, enormous planters. I mean, these weren't just little planters.
These were
They
like big planting
planters.
urns. Sure.
They had to wrap them up and take them in to the lab to be tested. They had to be thawed out.
Yeah.
Because they were frozen.
Because it's Canada.
Yeah.
And it'd be cold up there.
It'd be cold up there.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's what I heard. Wow. That was pretty gruesome there, sugar.
Yeah, it was.
That was gruesome.
It was terrible.
All right, so my cakes are in the oven. I do want to say that I just cheated this time and used Baker's Joy spray, but
There's nothing
there's nothing wrong with that. You just need to make sure that you butter and flour or Baker's Joy the pans. I had thought about doing parchment paper. This is very thin and watery batter. And I feel like that it would just go seep under the parchment paper, and all I can picture is the parchment paper being baked into the cake layer. So I'm not willing to give that a try.
That would be a terrible mess.
Yeah. So, but I got to tell you, you can also use this recipe for your cupcakes.
Yes.
So while your cake is baking, and then of course your cake has to come out and cool for 5 minutes, and then you turn it, out onto a cooling rack so it cools completely. So while that's happening, that's when I start to whip up my cream that goes in the middle. And you can do just vanilla cream, or you can add peanut butter like I did. You could add like some, if you wanted strawberry, you could add a little strawberry jam to it.
Yeah.
You could add, just a flavor, and I would make the cream, and then I would add whatever that extra flavor is. I'd add it, maybe start with like a teaspoon, and then because it just is, it's going to change the consistency a little bit.
Right.
So, and then, you don't want to, for me, I don't want that bold taste coming from the middle of my cake. I want it to complement my cake. So the way that we do our cream filling, which is just an amazing science experiment, once again. The first thing you do is you take 2 teaspoons of very hot water, you put it in a ramekin, and you put 1/4 teaspoon of salt in it, and then you set it aside because that salt needs to have time to dissolve. I kind of swirl it around a little bit. Then you take a 7-ounce jar of marshmallow cream. I use the Jet Puff, and 1/4 cup of shortening, which is the real Crisco shortening, not old shortening. You can either get it in the brick or the tub.
I think the brick is easier to work with.
I do too, but I got the tub this time because they were out of the bricks except for butter flavor, and you do not want the butter flavor. No. You just want the plain old white.
Yes.
And then you do 1/3 cup of powdered sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. And then, so what you do is you take everything except for the salt water, you put it in a bowl, and then you whip it good until it gets fluffy. And then you add that salt water, and that salt water interacts scientifically with something, and it just makes it fluff, just like a cloud.
Yeah, it is.
It's amazing. And so then you whip it until you get it to the right fluffy consistency. And then at that point, I took two teaspoons of peanut butter, put it in there, whipped it really good, tasted it, had my people taste it, and I ended up putting another teaspoon and a half, I think, of peanut butter in it, and then I whipped it. So it's a real light tan color.
Yeah,
it's not really
yeah.
a deep color of peanut butter. So once I do that, once my cake's cool, I take that filling and I spread that filling on top of a layer. I'm not icing the cake with it, I'm putting it in between. So I just put that in there, and then I piled the layers on top of each other with the cream in between. So that's where we go. And then at the end of this, I'll talk about the buttercream icing that I made.
All right. Well, we're going to take a pause and switch out.
And we're going to probably try to get this pig off my dog. I don't know how we're going to do it.
We'll see. She's not bothering me.
Well, I mean, every once in a while you hear that pig, and I feel like you got the toots.
It's all right.
Okay.
It's all right.
All right. Hopefully nobody else is bothered by it.
The pause or the black button?
I would hit the pause.
The pause.
Mhm.
Okay, we're pausing.
Okay,
Bye.
bye. And we're back.
We are back.
And my dogs are playing right now with a alligator with no stuffing, and they are playing tug of war, so you will hear them in the background. Don't worry, it's not a bear attacking.
If our listeners don't know about our dogs and how they like to be on our podcast by now.
I know. And how we spoil our dogs rotten and they don't know their place.
Exactly.
So we're going to talk about my murder. Not my murder. Nobody murdered me.
What?
I know.
What happened?
Well, here's the thing. I was murdered and now I'm back.
Oh.
So this takes place in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
All right. I'm familiar with the area.
I am familiar with that area as well. So back in 1990, Army Major David Shannon started dating Joan.
Okay.
They hit it off immediately, and he fell head over heels for Joan and her two daughters, Daisy and Elizabeth.
All right.
At the time, the girls were 6, which was Daisy, and 4, which was Elizabeth. In 1991, the couple wed, and David adopted Joan's girls.
Aw, that's nice.
Yes. David had a job as a computer specialist in the Army, and they moved around a lot, but in 2000 they moved to Fort Bragg,
Okay.
which is in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
It is indeed.
By now, they also had 2 sons, as well as Shannon's bio children that she brought with her.
So they had like a whole pack.
They had 4. There was 4.
That's a lot.
Mhm.
I think
So,
you're in dangerous territory when you get more
I think when the
kids than
children
adults.
outnumber the adults,
You're in trouble.
that you are setting yourself up for something.
Things
to
could go
awry.
wrong.
Things could go amok
They
or
could.
awry. I'm
Right.
not sure which.
Either way.
Yeah, so at this point, the girls had begun to act out a little bit. They were rebellious teenagers by the time they got to Fayetteville.
I just don't understand. I was never a
Me
rebellious
neither.
teenager.
Me neither.
I just don't know.
I agree. I didn't even know rebellious and teenager went together.
Really?
I didn't know that was a
No
thing or
idea.
a phrase or even a thing. God bless you, Leroy Brown.
No
Sounds like
idea.
a horse. Okay, so as teenagers, the girls were known for throwing wild parties while their
Woo!
parents were at work.
Oh my.
I can't imagine.
Oh my.
Why would anybody throw a party when their parents aren't there?
I don't either. I wonder if all your dad's liquor bottles got put in the neighbors' mailboxes. I don't know.
Or the temperature setter thing
Thermostat?
that got put all the way at 90 and then broken.
Right.
So
I
the
don't
heat
know.
was at 90.
Huh.
I don't even know how the baby powder got thrown up into the ceiling fan.
I don't either.
I'm not sure. So anyway, at this point, the girls were breaking every rule that their parents set. They were quite rebellious.
Sounds like it.
A little bit of a handful. The neighbors complained,
Right?
and the parents seemed to have lost control. No matter what David and Joan tried, they could not save their daughters. At the age of 17, Daisy was pregnant.
Oh no.
And at the age of 15, Elizabeth had been kicked out of school for a lot of fights.
Oh.
Yeah. So, again, they were a handful. So, aside from the trouble with the girls, though, the Shannons seemed to settle comfortably into their town. They were very social and had lots of friends. One friend in particular was Jeffrey Wilson, and he was a local soldier as well. He and Joan became quite close, and they were often seen out to dinner together.
And Joan?
Yeah.
Joan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Joan. And they would go to dinner and they would go shopping, and sometimes they would take those two rebellious girls with them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It is interesting. I found it interesting. So on July 23rd, 2002, in the wee hours of the morning.
Always in the wee hours.
Oh, I hate it. Joan Shannon calls 911 and tells dispatch that someone has shot and killed her husband in their bed, and the intruder had run away.
Oh, dear.
So emergency personnel arrive at the Shannon home to find David Shannon dead in his bed with 2 gunshot wounds, one to the head, one to the chest. Joan explained that she and David were asleep, and she awoke to the sound of a gunshot, and there was an intruder standing over her husband, and the intruder shot David a second time and then ran out of the house.
Officer, my husband has been shot 2 times.
He's been
There
shot
was
to
an
the
intruder,
death.
an intruder in the middle of the night, and they ran off without hurting anybody else in the house. I don't know what happened.
Oh, lawsy. So anyway, at the time, Elizabeth and the two little boys were at home, and Elizabeth had a friend over named Vera, who she was a sleepover guest that was staying with Elizabeth.
Oh, Vera. She had no idea.
Vera. Sorry. So police took Joan down to the station to get an official statement and took the 2 girls as well.
That's good thinking.
But nobody ever says what happened to the 2 little boys that were sleeping. Like, did they have to stay by themselves?
No.
Did the police take them somewhere?
I'm
Did a
sure
neighbor
the
come?
neighbors took care
I'm
of
just
them.
saying, there's never any mention, and
'Cause
I'm very
anytime anything
concerned
went
about
down
the
in-
2 boys.
Yeah, anytime anything went down in our house, we packed a bag and we got sent to the McCulloughs or the Cobbs.
Or the Geyers.
The Geyers.
Mhm.
We always got packed up and sent off.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure the same thing happened to those
That's
boys.
true. Yes, and as a matter of fact, when our brother ran through the storm door and cut his aorta, and there was blood shooting all over, Muffy's mama came first. And
The Morrises.
the Morse, yes.
Yes.
Rosemary Morse came, and she helped, and she stayed there, and then I was packed off and went to the Geyers. I think you were too originally, because you were just a wee thing. And then we stayed at the Geyers for a little bit, and at some point, you ended up, I don't even know where you went.
I don't know. I was maybe 6 months old. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I know we were at the Geyers for a little bit, then we went back home, and Rosemary came back home and was there with us, and I think we just had some babysitters in and out for a while.
Right.
So I'm just saying, it was
That's
a
what
whole,
happens.
it takes a village.
It
Back
does.
then,
It does.
people were in your village, you knew your village, and you appreciated and relied upon your village.
Yeah.
And they appreciated
And
and
thank
relied
God
upon
we
you.
didn't have any serial killers in our village.
No, we had cereal,
But no killers.
but no serial killers. Okay, so anywho, they took the girls down there too, to the station. At the station, Joan appeared to have no blood on her at all.
Of course, because
Just
why
remember,
would she
she's
have blood
she's
on her
in the
if she had
bed.
been in the bed next to her husband that got
Right,
shot
okay,
twice?
just saying. Also, she seemed very calm and not at all tearful as she explained what happened. That,
I'm sure she
not
was
like
in shock.
Piper, who seems to be very upset.
I think it's getting close to their feeding time.
I don't care. So anyway, they tested her for gunshot residue, and they found that she did have gunshot residue on her, but not in any type of a pattern that would indicate that she was the shooter.
Mm.
So they also tested the 2 girls. I guess they just had some extra test kits sitting around, and neither girl had any residue on them. So back at the crime scene, it was pretty gruesome. There was brain matter on the ceiling, as well as on the headboard. There was blood on the walls. Like, this was a close range shooting with a shotgun.
Right. But not on Joan.
Not a shotgun. Whatever, it's close range.
Right. But not on Joan. That's amazing. She must have had one of those, you know, those shirts that have the UV, whatever. Maybe it was like,
No,
it's green
I'm gonna
matter
tell you what she had.
deflective.
She probably slept in a sleep sack like you take to the hotel. And she had it pulled all the way over so no bugaboos
They
would get
just
in.
should have tested her sleep sack.
And she probably, and they had no idea what that was, so they were like, I don't know what that was, but surely nobody was using that to cover themselves up, because it looks like a human burrito.
It does.
Yeah, and so, yeah, that's probably what she had.
Yes.
Okay, so, gruesome crime scene. They didn't find a murder weapon. They did find 3 guns that were registered to David, but there was no apparent murder weapon. Those were not murder weapons. They had not been fired. There were no signs of a break-in, and there did not seem to be any items missing from the home.
Oh dear.
So, they also found, here it comes, an extensive pornography collection
Oh no.
under the couple's bed. Guys, don't keep your porn under your bed.
Listen, that's racist. I mean, sexist.
I'm
Because
saying
it might have
guys
been
like
hers.
everybody. I'm like y'all.
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 That's better.
All y'all. Don't keep your porn collection under your bed.
No.
That's tacky.
You keep it locked in your fireproof safe, you ding dongs.
Dumb asses. Anyway, also they found a computer
Okay.
and they start looking through the computer and they find lots more porn.
Wow.
This was of the homemade variety.
Oh no.
Yeah. There were multiple pictures that included David and multiple men,
Oh.
along with one sole singled out female, Joan.
Oh, Joan.
That's the cakes if you can
I
take
got
them
it.
out,
I
please.
got it. I'm on it.
Okay, thanks. So,
God forbid you should finish a freaking recipe.
it's just
I'm
take the
just
damn cakes
saying.
out. Take the flipping cakes out, you lazy bones. Okay, so upon more investigation, they found out that the couple was a part of a group called the Fayetteville Gangbangers.
Oh my God. The holy crap.
Which was a local swingers club, in case you didn't know.
Oh my Lanta.
Who
What
calls
are
it
they
that? Like,
doing
can't
in
you call it
Fayetteville?
Bridge Club? Like, why you gotta say gangbangers?
Gangbangers.
And when I was first reading through this, like, just perusing to see if this was something that I wanted to write about,
And you saw gangbangers?
I thought that the woman was accusing gang members and called them gangbangers
Oh,
because it was in
heaven's
quotations. And then when I was like, oh my God, she's saying a bunch of gangbangers came in and attacked her husband, and then I'm reading it, and I just kept perusing. And then when I was actually writing it, so I'm like actually reading all the words, I was like, ruh-roh.
Oh my
That
gosh.
was not about a gang. That was about the bang.
Oh,
Let's
Lord.
bang, more bang.
Oh,
So,
my.
I know. So anyway, there was also another male that appeared in multiple videos and pictures.
I
and
wonder who that was.
this was Mr. Jeffrey Wilson.
What? You
I
got to
know.
be kidding.
Not kidding. So the police call up Mr. Wilson and ask him to come down. with some-
Mr. Wilson.
That's what I'm thinking, Mr. Wilson, like the neighbor on Tim the Toolman Taylor.
I'm thinking about Dennis the Menace.
Oh, okay. Well, Mr. Wilson was also the neighbor, right?
Right.
Okay.
They just called him Wilson and no
Oh,
Mister.
there was no Mister. You're right. I take it back. So he goes down there and tells them, guys, excuse me, please. You all cannot do that while Mama is recording. Stop it. Piper, you're instigating.
This is a professional recording.
This is a studio. The studio recording sign is on. Guys, I'm gonna get you.
You need a handler.
Handler, can you handle, please? Thanks. Okay. So Mr. Wilson goes down to talk to the sheriffs. And he tells them that he met the Shannons online in a swinger chat room.
Oh, okay.
And then later in person physically met.
Okay.
That's in physical.
They had to size him up, make sure he was a good
physical,
fit.
physical. I think they were just in the parking lot doing that
Oh,
physical
yeah.
routine. That's all it was. And then later on, he had permission directly from David to see Shannon on the side as long as it didn't get serious.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if you're going to let the guy
Relations.
boink your wife, you might as well let him pay for her dinner.
Really?
So, anyway, he says that he was only using Joan to hopefully get her to co-sign for a new motorcycle.
Oh, for heaven's sakes!
But that Joan was more serious and asked Wilson more than once if he would run off with her. Wilson was also married and not interested in Joan. He was just having some fun and hoping for a co-signer for his motorbike.
That's it. That's it.
That's all it is. That's all it is. So even though he did not want to run off with Joan, he kept up their friendship with benefits. And eventually, David grew tired of his wife's friendship with Wilson and began to feel threatened and unhappy about it, and voiced to Joan more than once, I think it's
You need
enough.
to call it off.
Enough is enough.
Done.
So at that point, Joan started hinting to Wilson that she wished David would die.
Oh goodness.
She indicated that if he died, she would get $700,000, and because he was still active military, she would get a lifetime of military benefits for she and her sons. For her and her sons. I'm using bad grammar.
So okay.
Yeah.
I thought he had adopted the daughters.
Yeah, but they weren't minors anymore.
Oh, gotcha.
So, anyway, Wilson told police that when David was murdered and Joan called him to tell him, she didn't seem too upset about it. She was more about wanting to discuss plans to be with Wilson. Wilson was not interested.
Oh, he didn't want the motorcycle anymore?
Well, he wasn't, like, she wanted to, like, make plans to move in. Like, when can we be together?
Oh, he's like,
"That
as
is-"
soon as you co-sign on the motorcycle.
And he still just wanted the motorcycle.
I just want myself a
I
bike.
just want a Harley, or maybe a Yamagata.
Right.
I don't know what they're I don't know what they're called. A Yamagata,
I don't know.
a Lucci Mumu,
No.
a Hata Hata. What's those things called?
I-
Kawasaki.
Okay.
Anyway, let the good times roll.
Whatever.
So after extensive
He
interviews with
wanted
Wilson,
some bike and some booty.
oh my
That
God,
was
that's
it.
what he wanted.
Bike and booty.
He wanted booty and bike, but he wanted bike for booty.
Right.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, after extensive interviews with Wilson, police did not consider him a suspect.
Okay.
So I found that interesting.
Well, I did too, because I would have at least tested his hands for gunshot residue.
I don't know, because it had been probably more than a day since the murder, so you would assume maybe test his clothing, but whatever. For whatever reason, they ruled him out. He was not a suspect.
Okay.
So about a week.
But I'm just saying, we got a gangbangers club, so he was probably just one of many.
And that's what I think they probably looked at him as one of many. Maybe Joan didn't look at him as one of many, but he looked at them as one of many. So, because she was not the only
Now I'm
person
saying
he
the
was going
police.
against.
The
That
police.
they looked at all the swingers?
Yeah.
They possibly
In
could
the
have.
photos.
Oh yeah, they might. I mean, there were, yeah, whatever. I don't know. I don't want to get into that. I really don't. I mean, they didn't mention it in these two
It was a
articles
murder
I talked about.
investigation. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, yada, 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 not a suspect.
Okay.
So, about a week later, after, police have been looking, there's an anonymous tip that comes in.
Oh, I got a sneeze, Bill. Sugar.
Oh, no. Look at the light. Look at the light. Look up here, sugar. Look at the light.
Oh, God, it's
Okay,
gone.
there you go.
Ooh,
Ooh, it works
sorry.
every time. Okay, don't panic. We're good. So there was an anonymous.
An Annie Monis call. Tip.
And I put Any Mouse.
Minnie Mouse.
That's how I spelled it.
Mr. Annie Mouse call.
Yeah. Who's speaking? I'm Minnie Mouse. Oh wait, I read that wrong. I'm anonymous. So anyway, the tip said that Elizabeth was actually the shooter. Elizabeth.
Wow.
And she had been pressured into murdering her stepfather by her mother,
Oh.
Jean.
But how? Because they didn't find any gunshot residue on
Well,
Elizabeth.
I'm going to tell you how. Listen to this.
I'm going to hear it.
Okay, so this happened, July 23rd of oh my gosh, I gotta get it in my head. Yep, July 2002. July 23rd, 2002. 6 days later,
Okay.
Joan is arrested and charged for first-degree murder and conspiracy.
Damn it.
And they start looking for Elizabeth.
Mm.
On August 2nd.
Oh, right, because Elizabeth wasn't home.
She was home.
Oh, right.
Daisy wasn't home.
Daisy's not home. Elizabeth
was there.
Veronica. No, Veronica.
There's no Veronica.
Vilma.
It's Vera.
Vera.
Right, but Elizabeth was home because
She had the friend, Vera.
and they said she shot the man because her mama made her do it. So that's why they're arresting her. So August 2nd,
I thought you said Joan was arrested.
Joan was arrested, but I also said
They're
back
looking-
here
they're looking for
Elizabeth because the tip came in from Mr. Any Mouse
Right.
saying that Elizabeth was the shooter because her mama made her do it.
I got it now. I got
Lord. Don't forget Mr. Any Mouse. So finally they find her August 2nd. She was hiding under a bed in someone's trailer.
Oh.
And they arrested her. They cuffed her.
Was she pregnant?
No, that was Daisy.
Daisy's pregnant. Sorry.
Lord have mercy.
There's a
I
lot
am
of
working
people.
with an Alzheimer patient here. I was watching a Moida show today. I know, I mean, rarity. But they were interviewing this lady, this very elderly lady who was trying to act like she was very feeble. And she said, I'm an Alzheimer customer.
Alzheimer customer.
Alzheimer customer. I thought that was funny. So I actually have an Alzheimer customer right here with me. So fast forward to June of 2004. So this is almost exactly 2 years after the murder. Elizabeth pleads guilty. Guilty in a deal to testify against her mother.
Oh, Lord.
Now it's mother versus daughter.
Oh, Lordy.
So Elizabeth testified that she had overheard Joan on the phone with Wilson, telling him how she wanted to leave David but could not afford it because she would lose her spousal benefits.
Right.
And so she said that her mom had said, he rides on planes a lot. Why can't one of those planes go down while he's in it?
Oh, my.
I know, that was really rude. So she also said her mom asked Daisy if Daisy could get her some date rape drug to use on David.
Oh, my gosh.
And then she admitted to the girls that she had unsuccessfully tried to poison David in April and May.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, she is diabolical. So then she asked Elizabeth if she knew anyone willing to shoot David.
Mm.
So Elizabeth said, well, I'll ask around.
I'll see how my friends feel about
So
it.
she went to one friend and asked him if he could get her a gun.
Mm.
That friend said, no,
I
I ain't going to do it. So Elizabeth then went to another friend and said, would you be willing to shoot David?
Right.
And he said, no.
I'm good.
So
Right.
then when Elizabeth went and told her mom that she struck out,
Mm.
Joan began putting the pressure on Elizabeth. So a couple days later, Joan showed Elizabeth a gun belonging to David. She showed her how to load it and she told her how to use it, how to shoot it.
Right.
And then she loaded it and placed it along with some surgical gloves in Elizabeth's drawer in
Right.
her bedroom. And then the next day, Elizabeth agreed to shoot David.
Yeah, she's like, I'll do it.
Yeah. So on the night of the 23rd, Vera, the sleepover friend,
She got the date rape drug, didn't she?
she didn't. I think the two boys that slept through the whole thing did.
Oh, my God.
They must have gotten some extra Benadryl that night. So Vera says that Joan abruptly walked into Elizabeth's room at 11 o'clock and announced that she and David would be going to bed.
We're going to bed.
Yes, and that they would be asleep in their bedroom.
Mm.
David and I are going to bed and we'll be sleeping in our bedroom.
Sleeping in our bedroom.
Yes.
If
So
anybody's
Vera's like,
looking for us, we'll be in the bedroom sleeping.
we'll be sleeping.
Going to sleep
We're
now.
going to be asleep now. We're
It'll take
gonna
us 10 to 15 to fall asleep. A good
Yeah.
20 to get into that nice REM sleep.
Yeah, and we'll be in our bedroom.
In our bed.
If you're looking for us, we're in our bedroom in the bed. So Vera watched as Elizabeth then put on surgical gloves
Oh.
and an outer layer of sweatpants and sweatshirt.
And I'm sure Vera's like, you good?
She's like, what the heck? I didn't know we were playing dress up. And Elizabeth left the room and said, I'll be right back.
I'm going to do my hair. I'm going to dye my hair.
I'm dyeing my hair.
I'm
This is
putting
not some hair dyeing
Hair
outfit.
dyeing.
While my parents are asleep in their bedroom, in their bed.
Right.
Right about now. Gotta go. So then Vera hears 2 gunshots.
Mm.
And then Elizabeth comes back into the room, followed by Joan. And Joan says to the girls, get rid of the gun.
Oh.
And then Joan said, I need to think of something that will make me cry, and left, and Vera overheard her calling 911.
Oh, dear.
So when police arrived, the girls were in Elizabeth's room listening to music.
Poor Vera is like, I'm scared to move.
I am in some type of a bad dream.
I knew I shouldn't have come over here.
My mom said, don't go, and I climbed out the window for this. Like, I'm going to get grounded, and there's a murder. So anyway, Joan is eventually convicted of Moida.
Right.
And she is convicted and gets a sentence of life with no parole.
That's a good one.
I like that one. Elizabeth gets 31 years as part of her plea deal.
Mm.
And she is currently housed, or Joan is currently housed in the Southern Correctional Institute in Troy, North Carolina, which is about 90 miles east of Raleigh.
All right.
I'm not sure, but maybe we go by there on the way to the OBX.
We could wave.
No, we could go right in and say, Joan, you're dumb.
You dumb bitch.
How does 700,000 feel now? Oh, wait, your boys are growing up with no mother, no father, but they've got $700,000. So Elizabeth is serving her time at the North Carolina Correctional Institution of Women, which is outside of Raleigh, North Carolina. So we could go there as well.
Yeah, we could.
And she'll be eligible for parole in 2029. She'll be 42 years old at that point. Still time to
have
a child.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know if she's going to make parole, because since she was in prison, Elizabeth so far has racked up over 30 offenses.
Oh, Lord.
They range from theft to fighting to sex acts.
Oh, God. Oh, Lord.
I mean, the apple didn't fall far from the tree.
It must be some sort of genetic mutation.
I swear to God. So, yeah, I don't want to go see Elizabeth because she's nasty.
We're good. Yeah, no, she's nasty. Joan's nasty,
you
too.
know what? Now that you mention it, I don't want to see Joan either.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm good.
I want to know if Wilson ever got his motorbike.
Wilson.
Mr. Wilson, did you get your motorcycle?
Oh,
so, yeah.
Lord.
So that's Moida in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
That's
Fort Bragg,
crazy.
home of the Army people that it's like famous. It's like an airborne something. It's like a big deal. It's a big deal for the military there. And I have a high school friend that lives there, so I'm going to have to ask her.
Yeah.
If she ever heard of that murder.
Well, while you were jibber-jabbering, I let your cakes cool.
Thank you.
I didn't do anything else.
That's fine, because you don't have to. So I'm going to skip over there real quick.
All right.
I'm going to talk about the buttercream icing, because this is real easy.
Okay.
The way I make my buttercream icing, I don't have a recipe. So somebody write this down. For 1 box of confectioner sugar,
right,
I use 2 sticks of butter, softened. I put the butter and the confectioner sugar together, and I mix them with a hand mixer, or you can use the paddle part of a KitchenAid or whatever professional grade mixer.
Right.
And I get those so that it takes a while, because it takes on many forms, because it will, first of all, it's going to poof up in your face constantly, and then suddenly it's going to look like it's, like little balls of butter.
Right.
And then it's going to start to get crumbly.
Butter?
I use salted butter. Oh, and I do a pinch of salt, because I like my buttercream a little salty, which is weird, but I think most people like my buttercream.
It's weird.
But you like my buttercream.
I do.
So once it starts to get crumbly like that, like little, then I add a teaspoon of vanilla. And then I keep beating and beating and beating. And eventually it starts to look more like icing.
Right.
And then as it looks like icing, though, it's still real stiff. So then I start off adding a teaspoon of milk at a time. Teaspoon of milk, and beat it until you get it to the consistency that you like it.
Right.
Some people like it softer and thinner because it's easier to ice. Some people like it thicker. Some people make 2 different batches, and they do the thicker in the middle and the thinner on the outside, however you want to. That's how I make my buttercream. That's the only way I've ever made buttercream.
Right.
So we're going to take a break so that I can make the buttercream and throw it up on this here cake because I got my cream ready. Everything's ready. So I'm going to assemble it and then we're going to taste it.
Okay. All right, we're back.
Oh, girl. Okay, that was some kind of fun.
It smells so damn good in here.
Oh, it looks good too. And I have pictures. I took pictures as I was building the layers. So you'll see on the website. We'll post it. And then, so now we're going to taste it. So have a taste.
God, it smells so good. Oh, sugar, you have outdone yourself.
I love this buttercream. I could eat it on a cracker. I could eat it on an animal cracker.
Yeah, that'd be yummy. Oh my goodness.
All right.
So moist.
It's going to be so good. And so you'll see the finished product. I'll take pictures at my daughter's birthday dinner when I serve it. And until then, please email us at murder.sugarcoated@gmail.com. And find us on Facebook at our Facebook fan page group or page. I don't know, just the fan people. Just find us on Facebook, Sugar Coated Murder.
Podcast.
Fan. We're fans.
Right.
It's a group page. And we're on Instagram at Sugar Coated Murder. And we would love more followers on Insta, on the gram. And also we're on YouTube. And our YouTube channel is all one word, Karen, ampersand, Ann, space, Sugar Coated, one word.
There you go.
That's our channel, and you can subscribe to us. And we want to hear from you guys. Sue, get off your lazy ass and get to work. I hope you all are quarantining still in place and getting through it mentally and physically. We love you guys. We love, love, love that you all continue to listen to us. It means so much. We are at over 2,000 plays right now, and it's just so impressive that we still have people out there that are putting up with us.
It really is crazy.
We love it.
Just keep listening and listening and listening.
Email us for recipes. Email us recipes you want us to try, because that would be fun.
Email us murders.
Yeah, because that would be fun. So everything would be fun.
Don't murder people.
Or we will talk about you.
And wash your hands.
Wash your hands. Don't murder people. Don't get murdered. We love you. Listen to us all the time. Let all your friends and relatives know, and pass the word even to strangers.
Yeah.